Well, hello there. This is Mr. Blue and Mr. Blue's Print Shop. I'm just wanted to make this video for someone who asked me a very important question. The question was, how much ink is needed? From what I gathered is how much ink is needed for how many passes or the appearance of the ink on the shirt to, make it a finished product. And in this video, I'm someone who's been doing this for 13 years and I have my way of doing things. So take this as a tips video instead of a how-to video. So to get started here I have a white t-shirt we're going to start with. And what's unique about white is typically you do not need a base because you have white. So the color that's on the screen is the color that's going to reflect on the shirt. So here is a job I did earlier today. You can find the short coming out shortly. And with this is a good light prime green. Now what I'm using is a brand called Vortex, which unfortunately doesn't exist, but it's comparable to Wilflex. So just something to kind of explain here. Now, when you're screen printing, one thing that you're going to notice is people print in one or two different ways. They either pull the squeegee or they push the squeegee. I push. I've been doing it for so long that my muscle memory is how to push. I'm not a fan of pulling the ink through, which pulling the ink through is something that's comparable with what your machine does. So let's get started. So when I'm going to print, the first thing I want to do is flood the screen. Flooding the screen is starting from the back. I'm taking this hill of ink right here on the squeegee, right in front. And all I'm simply doing I'm putting in a little bit of pressure, probably equivalent to about 5-6 pounds of pressure. Now I'm going to just pull it straight back. Okay. Now pulling it straight back, what this does is it's pushing the ink into the mesh that is open. And this kind of gets it primed. I'm ready to put onto a shirt. Now my next step is I'm going to kind of pop my screen, leave the hill, take a little excess off so I'm not making a big mess. I'm going to come back behind the hill, have my hands firmly pressed here and here, and this helps distribute the weight evenly across. Now this is something, if you're a new screen printer, it takes practice. How much pressure to put down, how the angle. Now my angle of the squeegee, typically I like to try and sit where I'm about somewhere equivalent to about 30 degrees. This is what allows basically the reverse wedge effect to push the ink through the screens onto the shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and make a push. I'm going to go one solid stroke all the way through. Okay. And as you can see, one stroke didn't quite do the trick. I can look in here. I have a muddy spot. I can see where the mesh has still got a bunch of ink through. And simply to go back is, take it back, come back to the top, push down all the way through. Okay. You can take a look at it again. And from here, I can still see a little bit of spots. So it wouldn't hurt to just kind of give it one more stroke. Now what's making this a little more difficult is this is a higher mesh screen, which is good for quantities, which is good for things with a little bit more detail, or you don't want to put so much ink. You either get a softer print, higher detail, but it takes a little bit more work to push through the variation of what ink you are using. So let's go ahead and kind of get a feel here. And here we are. So I have this neon green on this white t-shirt, and what I'm looking for is I want a nice solid color going through. Okay. And from here, this is where I would either pull it off or flash and add my second color. This is a single color, so it's simply put on, get the ink on the shirt, it's ready to go into the dryer. Now, in a moment, I'm going to do one on a black t-shirt just to kind of explain, hey, we're going to need to see where we need to go, what it takes to do on a darker shirt. In this portion of the video, I'm going to print on a black screen. It's the same premise as printing on a white, except there's one exception. Blacks being a dark color, we need to put a base coat. Basically meaning either we're going to put down a base white or we could use the same color and just do two or three coats of that color. It's preferred that you use white for more if you have larger jobs. So if you're doing, multiple, more and more quantities, because white is going to hold that color a lot better as if it was a white shirt. So let me go ahead and demonstrate. So we're going to go again. I'm going to get the shirt warmed up. I have my flash dryer on. So we're going to put it under the flash dryer for about 5-6 seconds. Get the t-shirt hot. That way the adhesive on the platen holds that shirt in place. Okay, that should be long enough. Let's go ahead and move out of the way here. All right, now same premise. Get the screen. We're going to flood. So we're going to grab our hill. We're going to pull it back with 5-6 pounds of pressure evenly spread across. Break the squeegee from the screen so we don't make a mess. Grab, push down, and just so you might know, I feel like I'm putting about 15 so pounds of pressure down. You don't need a whole lot. So we're going to go all the way through. Nice even strokes. Give it a second pass. Okay. We're going over there. As you can tell, you can see how much darker this neon green shows up. This means we're going to definitely need another coat. So we're going to bring it to our flash dryer. We'll put it under a flash dryer. If you don't have a flash dryer, using a heat gun, you want to get about 400 degrees. The idea is you don't want to cure the ink. You just want the ink to be dry enough to the touch, so that way the next coat can go on evenly. That should be long enough. Okay. We're going to come back. And again, I'm going to flood the screen. Break from the hill. And we're going to do a nice even stroke. Now it's very important that when you're doing a stroke, you go all the way through to get a good clean image. Now we're looking at this. The green's brighter, but I'm still seeing a little bit of the t-shirt coming through. So this is going to tell me I need to do one more coat. We're going to come back to our flash dryer. Give about 5 more seconds. Now this is kind of important to kind of make sure that, if I was doing more and more colors, I can keep adding on. There are people who do wet on wet, but in my shop, I always flash in between colors because it's just easier for me. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to come back here, grab the hill all the way back, break away, get behind the hill. I'm going to go one more stroke. So we're going to go 1, 2. And the advantage of having a base is that it's going to grab more of the ink from the screen and hold it on to it than it was the shirt. And the reveal is, bada bing, bada boom, I got a more solid green print that's ready to go and get dried. So that's the basics of me pushing ink through the screen, and I hope this helps anybody out in how I go about doing it. And if you're an up and coming screen printer, I hope all I gotta say is just practice, practice, practice. Make yourself a single color print, and just keep going on shirts. Get test shirts, pulling back, getting used to the pressure, pushing it through, and the more you do it, the more that muscle memory builds up. It does take a little bit of time. Use the same shirt over and over again. Just run it through the dryer, or just keep it on and keep stroking back and forth. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And I hope this helps anybody out getting into it in the pushing method. Please like, please subscribe, comment, do everything that YouTube wants me to say. Okay. Well, y'all have a great day now. Bye-bye.